So, today we have the normal stock market update. I'm going to switch the screens over. And just right at the start here, I'm going to say you can go up in the top corner. I hope that's the right yeah, it is. That's the right direction. So the top right corner, you can click on the little eye icon and you can vote in the poll for today, this week's fluctuation. Once again, you can vote in that whenever, even if this video is no longer live. But you have until next Thursday to vote in the poll to help out with this week's fluctuation. So I have the screen switched, and now you can see the stock market. So you can see how we stand at the moment, but things are probably going to change. I actually meant to go do a last-minute check of the poll, so I'm going to do that live, I guess. So um, in the meantime, I will mention that this is not going to be the only stream today. I do plan on doing a second stream later today where I will be adding on to the add-on picture. I'm hoping that, I think you can hear me, yeah. So that is the plan. Is that maxing out? Yeah, I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit on the mic. Okay, so hopefully that is better. So I'm going to go check the current poll. I'll have to pause that as fast as I can. And it is how I saw it previously. So I'm just going to get back to the live stream so I can see if anyone's in the chat. And then we will get this thing going. So I have my calculator set up this time. So we're going to go add in the new stock market value. Or we'll just start with red. Red received a 0% of the vote. Yellow received a 50% of the vote. Green received a 50% of the vote. And blue received a 0% of the vote. Now this is, I believe, the opposite of what happened last time, because we have yellow and green receiving a large amount of the vote as opposed to blue and red. But we're going to see how this goes. So I'm going to just click enter here. I believe I have it up, and we should get a random number. That random number is 37. So we are going to see somewhat of a drop in the market today as well. But that drop will not be affecting yellow and green. Yellow and green are going to be going up by 13, which is pretty nice, considering yellow took a pretty hard hit last week. So we should see some changing and moving around in the scoreboard. So I'm going to zero out everything here, zero out the market factor, and we should see that we now have the updated values. Now red is very low, blue is still up there, so I don't think blue's really taken too big of a hit, but it does seem that some people have changed what their current position is in. So I was wondering how Megan and I would fare. It seems that the distance has not really changed much, due to the fact that she has a large allegiance in green, I have a large allegiance in yellow. So if I were to be able to gain any distance on her, I think that yellow would have to go up on its own, if not along with possibly red, considering her allegiances. Or I guess blue wouldn't really change much for her because I have about the same stock. So let's go. We're going to sort this to see how people change. So keep an eye on the current values. I think there's going to be something interesting going on. So from largest to smallest. And I was right. My sister Kate has now joined Megan and myself in the top three, passing even Steven. Now, this is the first time that this has happened, that anyone has passed even Steven since the beginning of the stock market when Megan and I both joined in. And we can also see that Dan is now the one who is in last. But I think OC is the only one that is over Boring Boris right now. So that means that everybody other than the top three up here has lost money, excluding OC, who is now lower than the market average but higher than the value he came in with, which I would say is a noble thing, because As I mentioned before, the current format for entering the stock market just gives you 100,000 to begin with, not the market average, which is something that will be changing in the next iteration of this stock market. So I'm gonna go change. I'm gonna go add the new historic data. So we have 75, I believe 89, and then 191, 310. So 191 and 310. And this is week 23. So we have 3 weeks left, and I'm thinking that so what's going to happen is the 26th week when I add the 26th uh, addition in here, that will be the end of it. I'm not going to have another fluctuation after that because we did have the fluctuation. I don't know. I think so. So the 26 weeks is going to be exactly half a year in terms of weeks because there's 52 weeks in a year. Now that's not a perfect number, but that's what we're going with. So when I write 26 in here, that's going to be the end of it. So I want to ask you guys watching for suggestions on what should be the prize for the person who wins. But like I said, at the moment, it's not necessarily a fair contest, so I may do something where if you are over your starting value of $100,000 or 100,000 Janos, you may get some benefit. I don't know, maybe like a benefit in the next season or something like that. But I'm just trying to brainstorm ideas. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know what you're thinking. But we can see that the market has sort of, to be honest, the real winner here is blue. Blue is the only one who has consistently gone up ever since week 3 here. And yellow, green, and red, for that matter, have all kind of bounced around. Now, green's still held on to a little bit here, but I think that goes to show just what people's favorite colors are. I think a lot of people like blue, and green tends to be somewhat favorable. Now, yellow has been a little bit more spastic. I think that has to do with the fact that there has been switching allegiances. That's something. I never updated the graph here. So there we go. So we can see that yellow actually took a little bit of a jump here, but if we look back over the course of this half of a year, yellow has sort of flailed up and down, whereas red has stayed pretty consistent around its 100, and green has had this slight upwards trend. Yellow has kind of gone a little bit all over the place in terms of its values. Now, I would say its average is a little bit higher than 100. It would be about, from the looks of this, 150. But it does seem that yellow hasn't really gained the allegiance that the other colors have gained. Other colors like green and blue, where green has been somewhat of a positive slope here. Yellow seems to have evened out with its hump, and then blue, as you can see, is pretty positive in its slope. So I don't have too much more to dwell on here. I will remind you that I need you guys to go vote in the corner if you haven't done that already, and that will fluctuate the market for the next week. And then we will be having, so that will be week 24, and there will be 2 more fluctuations after that for week 25 and for week 26. And on week 26, that's when we're cutting it off. I'm not sure if there's going to be a week break between when I start up the new market or if we will not see that. But I think I'll probably try and line it up to where I start the market and then the next weekend I have a guest for you guys so that we have somebody joining the market early on. Because I think that was a disadvantage. The new rule where you get the amount that Even Steven has at that moment should remedy it somewhat, but also having time to grow is a significant advantage in a market. Unless for some reason in the early stages the market were to crash and then recover, you would be able to ride the recovery wave without having experienced the crash. but you will come in with less money. So there's some give and take there, but that's what we're going with. I don't have too much more to say, but I do plan to hopefully have that second stream today at 8 o'clock. I'm trying to make sure that I have the picture by then from Mr. Positive in order to add my addition onto it. And hopefully we will see a nice crowd out there for the 8 o'clock stream. But I'm still looking for some topics to talk about over the weekend, and we should have a tax stream. Until then, I'm going to be signing off. So I hope you like the fact that we're having covers continuing as a weekly thing, and I will be talking to you at 8 o'clock. So goodbye.